So I've made a series of videos based on the Ansoff matrix, each video specifically looking at one strategy, and this video is market development. So, before I start, let's consider what Igor Ansoff's matrix is. These are growth strategies focused on product and market. When we consider a market, we must remember that involves a buyer and a seller. So how will the seller target buyers? Will it be existing buyers, new buyers? Will it be with their existing products, or have they tweaked and developed new products? So to start, market development. Market development is strategies based on their existing products but in new markets. So let's see an example, and this example is from Primark. So in considering a new market, we have to think of new ways of reaching new customers. This could be similar to Primark in the past with opening up new shops across the country, or their current strategy, which again has been criticised for being too long in the making and they're still not quite delivering, but going online. Consider other retail brands. They have physical stores, which they've expanded by location, but also had e-commerce websites and then developed m-commerce with smartphone apps. However, market development can also be targeted in new market segments, not just in geographic terms, but also demographic and behavioural segments as well. So these are new customers being targeted. So in the last year, Greggs have announced plans to increase their international expansion after previously pulling out of Belgium. They now believe they are ready when perhaps they wasn't before. So why do it? Well, market development reaches more customers. New market segments can be reached, meaning more sales. Sales of consumers who had never previously purchased their products or they could access, now they can. The more markets targeted, the greater exposure the brand will get. For example, from local to regional to national to international and worldwide. Also, by entering new markets, such as geographic locations, it can help to achieve different types of economies of scale. One example is marketing. So by advertising the brand, each outlet, shop and location will achieve the benefits. So one national TV advert could boost sales significantly, helping to increase output at a much greater rate than the increase in total cost from the increased production and the advert. So this will essentially mean that unit costs fall over time. However, as mentioned, Greggs, they have previously failed with such a strategy, and often big brands get it wrong. There has been cases of major companies failing to do their market research or not having the right people doing their market research. So when Starbucks entered Italy, they made sure they hired a local market research firm to provide them with as much local knowledge to avoid making mistakes. Starbucks knew about the traditional tastes and preferences for Italian coffee. They knew Italy was a higher risk than, let's say, when they first moved to the UK. In fact, Starbucks held off for over 40 years, and when they did move to Italy, they avoided places like Naples and Rome, where coffee snobbery was found to be at its highest. Yet companies like Domino's either failed to carry out the market research required, didn't do it at the quality that was needed, or were naive at the difference between the Italian market and US, and this is what happened.
Pizza is to close down all its stores in Italy. The US brand opened its first store in Milan 7 years ago. It expanded around the country despite being shunned by traditionalists opposed to North American innovations such as putting pineapple on pizzas. Domino's says the coronavirus pandemic led to local pizza restaurants encroaching on their home delivery market. Well, earlier I spoke to Serena Sarnataro, the owner of Vicali di Napoli pizzeria in North London. She's an expert in making traditional Napolitano pizza and is originally from Naples. I asked her what she makes of Domino's pizza.
I think, there's a very different kind of concept of pizzas that we have in Italy compared to America. I'm not surprised that, unfortunately, Domino did not take off in Italy because our idea is very, very simple. It's flour, yeast, and water. It's freshly made every day. It's ingredients that we source directly from producers nearby. So it's not so much as a industry, it's more of an artisan thing. When I first opened here in London, for example, we were only making two pizzas and people were shocked. So I'm a bit not surprised in a way that this is happening.
I mean, when you think about Italian pizzas, wherever they are around the world, and you know, you talk about your pizza shop, restaurant here in London, it's about quality, isn't it? That's what Italians are focused on in Italy. It's the simplicity of it, but
Exactly.
the quality is quite high.
That's it. It's simple. It's simple. You know, that's what it says. It's nothing major. There's no chicken, there's no pineapple, no complicated ingredients, because what comes from the ground is so good that you don't need to mess up. That's why I always say to my customers who ask for chicken or spices or all sorts of things. I mean, it's difficult for us as well. To start with, because people were thinking, well, it's just a margarita, it's just tomato and mozzarella, and that's it. And then they try it, and actually, you don't need anything else. And most of them don't even use chili oil anymore. So that's quite.
What do you think Domino's was thinking when they entered the Italian market?
I was very surprised, to be honest. The same as Starbucks in a way, you know. I mean, Italy is very, and I talk about it, my family is the same. We're all very traditional, and food for us is such an important thing. The takeaway, Uber, delivery, they just started now to sort of pick up, and Domino is mainly based on delivery all of this time, and it's got an amazing structure, they're an amazing company. But the thing is, we're not so much delivery country. We like to go out, we like to socialize, we like to hang out with our friends. So that's another thing as well. I think people like to have a place to go to and eat good food, fresh food. So I think that's another reason why maybe it didn't work so much, because they're so focused on delivery.
Target is closing all 133 of its stores in Canada. But the news doesn't come as a surprise to analysts and customers that have been tracking the company's expansion. I'm Hadley Malcolm for USA Today. Target Canada had several major issues over the past 2 years, and customers were quick to tweet about them when the news broke that the stores would close. At Dark Contour said, "Lack of stock that got me. We did try to shop there for the holidays, but there were empty shelves and no restock." Target Canada didn't have a good supply chain in place while it was rapidly opening stores. That led to empty store shelves and unhappy customers. These are photos from the CEO of Balouse Capital Advisors, Brian Sotzi. Stores were poorly stocked, and Canadians were turned off when they noticed that prices fluctuated from what they were used to seeing at Target's U.S. stores. Target itself admits that it tried to do too much too fast in Canada. I've spoken to several industry experts who say that Target also just didn't understand the Canadian customer, who's influenced by both the US and Europe, and they don't necessarily shop the same way as Americans. Plus, there was competition to contend with. Walmart already has a successful business in Canada, and other stores like Loblaws have very loyal customers.
So Häagen-Dazs and Ben & Jerry's have both struggled in Italy, but also we have to consider the importance of market research. Market research, as mentioned before with Starbucks, is required. Just because the product works in one market, it does not mean it'll work in other markets. Just because you dominate one geographic market doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to dominate other international markets. So when we consider Target, it also suggests we need to ensure supply chains and distribution channels are ready for such a strategy. Operational preparation is going to be absolutely crucial.